got some tropics to discuss. August 11th, a date that we talk about a lot here on Fox Weather. It's when we, on record, or average, get our first Atlantic hurricane of the season. It doesn't look like we're going to hit that target, at least this year, but we might, and we could very well have a tropical depression within the show. You think it's going to happen? The Hurricane Center saying later this morning, which would warrant a special advisory, but
right. We'll see. We will be here ready to go and to bring that information.
Not that we need to worry about it because it's thousands of miles away from the U.S. But let's get into it, talk about what everyone is talking about, especially those who are weather enthusiasts. The area of interest called Invest 97L. As of 8 o'clock Eastern, we've gotten this new product, you could say, this new update from the National Hurricane Center. They're also watching an area now well north and west of Invest 96L. This thing has a low chance of development, 10% shot over the next 48 hours. It's because of where it's moving over the Gulf Stream. Maybe some sort of tropical characteristic could form with this, so we'll keep tabs. This is the one that really has our eye. My, oh my, though, how Invest 96L has just fallen off the interest train, right, as this thing has moved away, and chances of it even developing, Marissa, have been shrinking. Speaking of shrinking, these areas to watch. Invest 97L, which over the next 48 hours has a 90% chance of development now. So we're talking here soon. It's possible that this thing is very close to, as we had said, becoming a tropical depression, but a small window for where it could develop. I think that speaks to just how organized it is right now.
How organized it is now, the high certainty that we're going to have a tropical depression within a relatively short amount of time. And noting that it stayed in that high, it was 80% before, right? 70, 90, I think.
90,
so it's been growing steadily. And to your point, the direction is what also warrants attention, that westerly direction steered by that high pressure to the north. So this is, of course, the one to watch.
I think the bottom line, it's going to be a slow burn. So, I mean, we get hot out the gate, but then you think about it, and this has quite a journey ahead of us. In fact, the journey is well known this time of year to get a wave that emerges off the coast of Africa, and it begins to drift off to the west. As you had mentioned, that ridge of high pressure is going to keep this thing low, heading west. It's still, when we look at where waves can form, a lot of times you'll see them a little farther to the south. This thing has seemingly broken away, and this is the area we're watching. It doesn't look all that impressive. We had a flare-up of activity early this morning, but as of the latest scans, this is infrared satellite, looks like we don't have a ton of activity. It's not going to be moving into the most hospitable environment over the next couple of days.
It has some challenges.
It really does.
I think a couple of things with this. Yes, it seems to have the better chance of the many waves we've seen, but it doesn't mean it's a one and done process. So there is some dry air, some Saharan dust. So if it's able to maintain that pocket of moisture, we'll see if it's able to survive. But I think, it is teetering on that depression threshold. And remembering it doesn't get a name until it's a tropical storm, which even the NHC is saying could happen by mid to end of the week.
And the next name would be Erin, unless something else surprisingly develops, and it doesn't look like anything will develop. What we're showing you are the different parameters, the different variables that go into growing a tropical system. These temperatures, upper 70s, low 80s. I mean, not to be too technical, a lot of times we'll just round up and say you need temperatures of at least 80 degrees in the sea to get a tropical system to strengthen. Technically, it's upper 80s, 78, 79 degrees, just fine for tropical systems. They might not strengthen quickly, but they could overall receive that heat and then grow. As we know, tropical cyclones are warm core lows. They are very different than areas of low pressure which form over land. But I think when we look at just this, and since there's not much to talk about right now, let's talk about the shrinkage. What do you say? Because I think it's the confidence that we have that this thing is going to form over the next 48 hours. The Hurricane Center had the red kind of extended out a little farther because there was uncertainty if the environment that it's currently in was going to support development. This is a developmental zone. It speaks nothing to the track. It speaks nothing to where this thing could ultimately go. Yes, the wave could form in that zone, but I didn't mean to take it all, but
No.
I just wanted to share
there's
that thought.
there's very little to have anyway.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, and remembering whenever we get that area, it could form further to the north than that, further to the south than that. And there are so many uncertainties when it comes to the long range forecast of even getting into the nitty gritty of what it means for the eastern coast of the U.S. As of now, I'd say there's higher confidence in the next 2 to 4 days of where it will go, and watching into the Caribbean, the Lesser Antilles, of what could be taken there. And it could potentially be a tropical storm by the time it reaches the Caribbean.
No doubt. And when could that be? Well, maybe by the week's end. So we're talking Thursday or Friday. This is where the both big global models, the GFS and the Euro, all of these areas of low pressure, just a bunch of different runs with the slightly initial condition that's changed. When there's high confidence like this, we can speak highly that there's going to be probably a storm north of the Caribbean. Beyond that, and that doesn't even speak to intensity, right? Beyond that is some questions. So we'll see. And even as it gets to this point on Friday, it still has a road ahead of it. And it also is going to be steered accordingly. So we'll see how things overall will be supportive, but it is something to watch. Does look like, though, all the ingredients will be lining up for something to form. Next hour, we are going to be joined by Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross. He's going to give us that update and his thoughts, of course, being the hurricane specialist that he is. We look forward to it, so stay tuned for that.